Hello and welcome to Precious Memory Box's Junk Journaling. And today I have the long talked about journal that I've been wanting to do since the beginning of the month. And I'm going to get started on it today. And we're going to be creating a journal out of this composition notebook cover. It has this really nice tape fabric type binding already and some sturdy board that we can add our paper to, so we're going to use that. And then we're going to be using the kit, the April subscription kit, Woodland Wonder from Pink Monarch Prints. And I have printed it all out and I have copied front and back, and I thought I'd give you a quick flip through before we get started. And today we will try to get our journal covered and our signature in it. So let me just do a flip through of some of the beautiful pages here. And I have already cut these down a little bit on my trimmer. And of course I've added pages to the back. So all of these pages that you see are in the kit. Of course some of them are duplicates here because I've copied front and back. This is one of my favorite. I think we'll use that on the cover. But it's got blues, greens, pinks, a little bit of black, a little bit of like a goldish yellow in it. And it's got beiges and tans. So it's a nice neutral kit with a lot of different designs. A pretty blue. So that's most of the pages. Altogether there are 60 pages in this subscription kit, and everything in it, you can make several journals with this. So those were the papers, and I believe there's 20 papers, different papers in the kit. And then we have various ephemera. So we have some envelopes. I got that one upside down. We've got this type of like a coin envelope. We've got some pockets that we can use. Some more pockets. We have some stamps and pieces of ephemera, postcard. And then we have some pockets like these. You also get included, depending upon the size of your journal, you also get journal pages. So we may even use a few of these in there. We'll just have to see what size we decide to go with. So these I didn't copy on the back of because I wasn't anticipating using them, but if I decide to, we'll figure that out as we go along. Here are some tags and little small ticket type ephemera. I love these here. These numbers, and then we've got ticket stamps, and these, I'm not quite sure if they're like library cards where you fold this up, or it's just a tag. I'm looking at it wrong. It's a tag. There we go. Then we've got some pieces of ephemera here, and many of these I copied on the back of also, so they would have something on the back of them. Here's some more journal cards, and my printer decided to eat that, but it's still usable. Here's some postcards, and they had some strips of washi, and what I did with them is I took a piece of clear sticker paper and I printed it on here so that I can use it just like washi. And then we've got some more pockets and journaling cards. We have more envelopes, so you can just see this kit is loaded. Here's larger envelope, journaling cards, here's a mini folder, file folder, alphabet, which I'm excited to cut these out. I have learned how to use my brother's Scan and Cut finally, and I'll show you. I cut out all of these with my brother's Scan and Cut. And I was really excited when it worked right, because I've tried it on the Cricut and I can't get it to do properly on the Cricut. So I was really excited when the brother Scan and Cut worked. So there we go. I'm going to do that with this one here and cut those out, because I'm not sure I could cut all those by hand. That would be a lot of tight little angles. So we'll give that a try later and cut these out. And then we have some ephemera with some pops of color that I love. And then we've got different types of tags here. Some more pockets and tags. Some tickets, a little bit larger tickets. More pockets. And I love these, like filing cards, so you could use them as journal cards. You could also cut out the center and make those a frame if you want. Some smaller tags. And smaller ones. Some more different shaped pockets and tags. Another file folder. Here's some just labels, different labels you can use. So this kit is loaded. And you get all of this, if you're not familiar with Pink Monarch Prints, you get all of this for $8.99. They have two different types of subscription kits. They have the Premier one, which is this set here, 60 pages. And then they also have the Gold kit, which you get an extra gold kit with it and access to different freebies on their website. Everything is limited to the month that it's in, so you have to check that out. They also often have stickers that go along with the monthly kit. I forgot to bring those in here with me, but I do have them. So I'll grab them next time when we start working on decorating the journal, and we can use some of those. So let's get started. I'm going to set all my extra pieces over here to the side, and I'll work on cutting them out the next couple days. But first, we're going to work on creating our signature. And we just have to decide how large we want this to be. Now, I'm going to keep this black border. And let's find the piece I want to use as the cover. I copied a couple of these on the backs of other ones, so that I would have enough if that's how I chose to go. So here's one. And I want to use this as the cover. And then, so it'll take two of these if I want to use the same one. And we need to cut, I want to keep about 1 inch at the top and 1 inch at the bottom so we can fold it over. And then, so I need to cut this about 1 inch. So I'm going to measure the cover here. And it is exactly 6 inches. So I need to cut this paper at 7 lengthwise. So let me pull this out. So we're going to cut that at 7, so we have a little bit to fold over. And we'll keep that in case we want to use it for something else. Okay. And as you can see, you cannot see the red through there, so that is great. I think this might be the upsize direction. So we will just kind of line that right up with the black here. I'm going to use a heavier glue. I'm going to use this glue here. And let's see, did I bring my brush in here with me? I did not. All right, we'll see if I can just smooth it out with the tip of the glue. Because I don't want lines. So I'm going to put just a little bit of overlap on here. And then I'm just going to use this, or maybe use my finger here. And the nice thing about a printable kit is if you find you like a certain pattern better than others, you can reprint it and use it as many times as you want. Oops, I'm getting a little crazy there with that glue. Thank goodness it dries clear. I'm working in an opposite room from my from where my craft space is, and I always end up forgetting something. Well, today it was the spreader I wanted to use to help me spread the glue. All right, so we are going to line this up. Try to keep it straight. I'm going to use my grid here on here to help me keep it straight. And let's line that up with that line. Looks like it's pretty good. We've got about 1 inch or a little less on each side there. I'm going to press this down. You have a bone folder, run that along there. If you have a brayer, you can use that and run along there. All right, so we're going to take that now and we're going to fold this over. But first we're going to cut these corners. I think I got that a little longer than I needed it, so we may trim a little bit of that off. Let's see. I can go one direction the right way, but then when I do the other side, I forget how to do it. So let's see. We can fold that in. We can even cut that back a little if we need to. And we can fold this. And this one's going to be the shortest. That's okay. We're going to cover it up with some more paper. I'm going to go ahead and use this heavier glue on this. The rest we'll probably maybe use our Bearly Arts glue or glue stick. I'm just going to add a little glue here. And I'm trying to decide which do I want to fold in first. So I probably should have put my glue on here first. Okay. So I'm going to roll this first. Roll that over. Smooth it down. And then I'm going to go ahead and roll this over and press out that glue so we won't have wrinkles. And we'll do a little bit down here. All right, it's a really pretty paper. All right. So let's decide if we want the back cover to look the same. That reminds me of one of those, what do you call them? Reader's Digest covers. It's really pretty. Okay, so do we want to use the same style of paper, or do we want to use something complementary on the back? So we've got this, which is definitely complementary. We can also just do a plain cover. But I'm really thinking I want to do the same one on the back. So let's see what we've got. Oh, that one's plain. That'll work perfect. I didn't copy on the back of that one. All right, so let's grab our trimmer again. This time, we're going to go 7.5 because we made that quite large last time. So let's do 7.5 this time. Actually, we need to go smaller, don't we? Let me think here. 7 was too much. Left too much on the side. So let's go at 6.5. All right. There we go. We're going to turn it over. And we're going to do the same thing again to this side. And let's make sure we have our paper going the same direction. All right. All right. And you know what? I think I'm going to use my paper I've got here to help me kind of spread out the glue and make it lay down. So again, let me use this to line up my lines. I'm going to take that slightly over it because we don't want that red showing. So I'm smoothing out the glue underneath here. Okay. And we're going to turn this way. We're going to cut a little bit off the corner, kind of try to miter it a little bit. And I am not good at this. Okay. There we go. All right. Let's put a little glue down. Got that a little thick. If I can move some of that over here. I'm going to roll this onto here. This paper is, I believe it's 28-pound paper, so it doesn't crack real easy. It does pretty good when you roll it. All right, we're going to roll this onto here. Now this one I think will have some seepage from the glue. All right, let's put some down here. There we go. And again, we're going to roll it. There we go. All right. Now we're going to figure out which glue. Let me put a dab of glue here. Just use my glue stick. Press that down. Let's decide what paper we want to use on the inside. And I'm kind of thinking maybe this paper here. And I'm hoping I have enough to cut it in half. And so it'll fit both sides. So we need to cover this little space here with something. So maybe we'll take a strip of this and put that there just to help cover the binding. I've even got some string still there from pulling the paper out. May seem, it's probably a little more glue than I need, but if I get it glued down well the first time, then I won't have to worry about it later. Oops. See? And let's see, we may take our other glue here. And we'll just run it along these edges that aren't glued down. There we go. There we go. Let me grab a pair of scissors here and we will trim off this excess. Now you could also get, if you like the look of this tape, you could just buy some black fabric type tape and use that, you know, on chipboard to get the same effect. So there is our cover. I'm getting a little bit of wrinkling there, but that's okay. It's because I didn't smooth that glue out like I should have by hand, but that's all right. It's actually hard to tell unless you're touching it. All right. Now we're going to decide. I'm going to fold this in half just to see if it will cover well in half. And I think that will work. So let me grab my trimmer. We'll just line up our center there. All right. And here we go. Now I think I'll use my glue stick on this. Just because it's less messy. If you have a glue book or a sticky mat. Feel free to grab that and use it. I have a sticky mat somewhere. I'm always just too busy. I hope I got that straight. I think I got it a tad bit crooked. Right. Hope everyone is having a beautiful Easter day with your family or friends. Okay, so this one is a little short at the top. Trying to keep it even on the other side. I think that'll be okay. We can maybe cover that up with something and make sure our paper is straight. And I think my paper looks a little crooked, but I think it's here. So I will find something to cover that up so that my paper looks even on both sides. There we go. There's the inside of our book. We've got a little more margin on this side than this, but that's okay. And there we have our cover. Now we'll take a look and let's see what the size of our journal ended up being. So it is 9 inches tall and 6 inches wide. So it's a 9 by 6. So let's see if we fold our paper over, if we're going to need to do anything, and I don't think we are. So we're going to make one signature here. I'm going to do my best to line these up, and I will probably put you on fast forward here while I work on folding these pages. Okay, we've got all our pages folded in half, and what we're going to do is just take a moment, kind of arrange them, try to keep from putting, the same color combination right next to each other if we can. And I'm going to line them up inside of each other. We're just going to have one larger signature here. There we go. A little bit of every color in this kit, which is really pretty. That page is sideways, but you know what? That's okay. You could also add some book pages or ledger pages if you wanted something different. I'm just going ahead and using what's in the kit because it's, a beautiful kit. Okay, so let me fold this one this way. And then I may have to go back and mix that one in somewhere else so we don't have all the same pages together. Let's see what this is a green. So let's actually I think I want the green here. And let's go maybe right there with that one. All right, there we go. There's our signature. Now, if it bothers you because those pages stick out a little bit, you could take a ruler and like a X-Acto knife and you could trim those all. I actually kind of like that in my journals, so I'm not going to do anything with it. Plus, you can add lace and trim to these if you want. All right, we're going to grab our binding kit and sew in the signature. So I'm going to get all my pages together, and let's see if I have any clips in here with me. I need to clean up my little box of stuff so I know what I have with me. Well, I don't think I have any. That's okay. I think it'll be all right. Okay, so our crease is right about there. We want to try to keep it in the center of our, right there. Okay. And every page may not be perfectly lined up because sometimes when you try to trim them on the trimmer, it doesn't always line up exactly. So let me grab out the needle here. And then I've got my awl. I'm going to try to keep them the same, a little bit of the, try to keep them the same distance on the top and the bottom. The side is going to be a little different because I have more of the green over here. Okay, so I want to make sure I'm going to do one at the top here. And I want to make sure it's going to come out in the middle of my black spine there. So I'm trying to be careful. That looks good. I'm going to push that all in there, make that hole a little bit bigger. Makes it easier to get your needle through. I'm going to eyeball where the center is and do the same thing. Okay, and then we're going to do one more down here, about an inch from the top. There we go. All right, be careful if you're using an awl. They are very sharp. They do make book cradles if you prefer to use a book cradle. Now, the kind of rule of thumb is measure where your signature and make your length about 2.5 to 3 inches that many times to have enough thread to sew in your signature. And this is wax thread. I got this little kit off of Amazon, pretty cheap. Came with all of this in it, I think, for like $6 or $7. It wasn't bad at all. All right, so what I do is just thread my needle enough to get it through there. I usually start in the center and on the inside. Sometimes I have to figure out where my hole is. So there we go. So I'm going to pull that through, and I'm going to go to the bottom and go back through on this side. I'm going to start here and then line it up. If you have little clips that you can use, that is very helpful. That way you don't have to kind of pull your pages apart like I did. Okay, so I have one in the middle coming back through here, and I'm going to pull this all the way up. Okay, leave myself a little bit there, and I'm going to go all the way to the top here. Okay, and we're going to come back through here. There we go. And then we'll find our hole here. All right, we're going to pull that through. There we go. Give that a little tug. You want it to be tight, but not so tight that it rips your pages. Okay, and then we're going to go back through the center. And let me pull this up. There we go. Now, when you feed that back through the center, try not to go back through the thread. Try not to split the thread you already have in there. Sorry if I'm getting out of camera. It's kind of, sometimes it's hard to do. Okay. My fingers are not cooperating with me. There we go. There we go. All right. So I did good. I didn't split the thread. All right. And I'm going to find my extra piece here and pull it up. There we go. Take my needle off. And before you tie that off, you want to look at your inside and your outside and make sure it's, see, that one's kind of loose. So let me find the thread and pull it tighter. There we go. All right. And then you want a string on each side. That'll help it tie. Make sure your inside one is tied how you want it. And then go ahead and double knot it. You can tie it in a bow. You can clip it off. For now, I'm going to leave the strings hang in case we decide we want to add a dangle later. All right. And so there we have the signature. And let's see how many pages we have. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you take that 11 times 4, and that gives us 44 pages in this journal. So you take it times 4 because you're going to have a front and back here and a front and back here. So you have 44 surfaces that you can cover. And there is the beginning of our Pink Monarch Prints Woodland Wonder Journal. And I really like how it came out. I like using the cover from the composition book. Or, like I said, you can get a fabric tape. You could use duct tape if you want, but they do make a fabric tape. You can do that. It may be just as inexpensive to buy a composition book and use the paper in it as part of the journal or for something else, and because this already has that nice fabric tape on it. All right, so next time, and I will try to come back sooner if I can, we will start adding the pockets and different items there. And then in the final one part, I think it'll take us 3 parts to get this done, we will make some embellishments, or like some clusters, decorate our tags, some different, figure out how we're going to use the envelopes, maybe make some flips and flaps to go in there. And we also need to come up, we need to decide if we're going to put something else on the front of this. If we want to add to it or if we just want to leave it just as it is. I'm thinking right now of maybe some type of nameplate to put on the front of it. I may use a real nameplate and just glue it down, a metal one. Or I may use a printable one that we have that we could do that with. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you will join me next time. I hope if you are a member of the subscription kit for Pink Monarch Prints, I hope you'll follow along and create a journal with me. If not, go check it out at pinkmonarchprints.com for their subscription group. You can also buy the kits on Etsy, but your best value is buying them in the monthly subscription kit. This subscription kit was 60 pages. Generally, it's around 50, but with 60 pages this month was $8.99. You can't really beat that for everything that you get to make, several projects out of it. But you definitely can make one big full journal out of the kit. So I hope you'll go check that out. I'll put the link down below, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me. Bye.